Polynesia, written by Sean McCollum. Voyage of Oahuka. In 1973, a group of Polynesians began building a large ship in Hawaii. It was named Hokulea, the Hawaiian name for a bright star that passes over the island. The finished ship was a 19-meter canoe with two bows. It was built to be as close as possible in design for the Polynesian ships of long ago. Such ships had carried Polynesian settlers all across the Pacific Ocean. However, none have been built in hundreds of years. The island Polynesia has changed a lot because of colonialism. By the early 1970s, other countries had taken most of the Polynesian lands. Polynesian culture suffered as a result. Pacific Islanders' long-held beliefs and practices were pushed aside. Many Polynesian children never learned the language and history of the elders. Ancient respect sails on their boats. Modern entertainment took the place of traditional songs, dances, and other customs. Hokulea creators wanted to study how Polynesian sailors found their way across huge distances with no land in sight. They are small pure lakes from the Jap Islands in the federal state of Micronesia. To help them, Penelope was one of the few people who still knew the old ways of navigation. He was an expert at using stars, clouds, waves, buttons, and other clues to keep a boat on course. On May 1st, 1976, Hawker set out on a 4,345-kilometer voyage from Hawaii to Tahiti. It carried no engines or other modern equipment. The voyage was a success. Canoe and crew arrived in Tahiti's Papit harbor about a month later. More than 70,000 people were waiting to cheer them into port. The first voyage of the Hokulea was not just for the show. It proved that Polynesian explorers of an earlier time could actually do what the legends taught. It also served as a symbol helping to reawaken Polynesians' pride in their ancestors' skills. Across the great ocean, the people of Polynesia have much to be proud of. Their ancestors were some of the greatest explorers in human history. From about 15,000 BC to 1400 CE, Polynesians explored millions of square miles of the Pacific Ocean. They settled island after island across a huge sea area. For a long time, though, they did not get the credit they deserved. Many people did not believe that ancient Polynesians had the technology and knowledge to make such voyages. Polynesians left behind stories, but no written records of their achievements. Researchers have used other ways to piece together the history. Archaeologists studied poetry and other ancient artifacts to find connections between distinct groups. Experts compared the languages of people from different islands for clues who came from where. Recently, researchers have turned to DNA testing. The study in the genes where people's cells genes offer important clues about where people's ancestors came from and have helped a lot of stories of a Polynesian. Taken together, these clues show that the Polynesians first came from Southeast Asia. They settled for a while in what are now Taiwan and Philippines. The both major islands rose off the coast of mainland China. Starting around 3000 BC, Polynesian explorers began sailing to the southeast. They often followed shores of the island called archipelagos. They reached the Fiji and Samoa about 3,000 years ago. About 100 years ago, Polynesian exploration took a big leap into the unknown. In two main time periods, Polynesians sailed into huge areas of ocean no human had yet visited, but they settled Tahiti, its surrounding island, between 1025 and 1120. Then, from 1200 to 1400, the voyagers' canoes spread out in many directions. They settled islands as scattered as Hawaii, Papua Nui, and New Zealand. These point on the more three corners of what is known as the Polynesian Triangle. Traditional Polynesian culture: Hawaii, New Zealand, Samoa, Tonga, Tahiti, all of the Pacific Islands are considered part of Polynesia. Their branches same culture tree. As Polynesian groups split and spread out, they carried their culture with them. Some of the connections lasted, though the communities on which islands grew and changed in their own ways. Polynesians brought their religious belief with them and settled at new island. One belief was the idea of mana, which means spirits or life force. Mana can be good or bad. Polynesians believe all living things possess their scared energy. Polynesian religion also featured many god stories about how Earth and its creatures were formed or similar from one corner to the Polynesian Triangle to another. The Maori New Zealand, for example, live in Rangi and Papa. Along the highlands, these gods are named Al and Paul. Mo is another character who appeared often in Polynesian myths. He is a half-god, half-human hero, full of mischief, courage, and cunning. Why gave his name to one of Hawaii's main islands. Polynesian culture spread in other ways as well, including food. Voyagers loaded their long, wide canoes with land and stuff to start gardens and farms. These cargoes include dogs, chickens, and pigs. Breadfruit, turtle, and bananas were among the crops. Polynesian settlers were wherever they settled. Of that using sea to meet their needs. One were the Asians across much of Polynesian Ocean, separated by so much distance. Though different Polynesian groups developed in their own special ways, the two large islands of the New Zealand became the home of the Maori. These people were known to be fierce warriors. They built forces on earth as stone called pair. Their expressive style of dancing generally referred to as haka, as well as symbols of New Zealand. Polynesians changed depending on where they settled. When they raised hills, villages, and forts where the good can go in supply. In tropics, places warmer than New Zealand, they still found new ways to dress and build. Still, other Polynesians developed their own legends and cultural practices like hula, storytelling dance style created by the Hawaiians. Polynesia in modern time. For centuries, Polynesians had much time of specific to themselves. More than 500 years ago, European ships began reaching the island. Their arrival changed Polynesian culture forever. European powers seized many Polynesian lands. For example, the British had New Zealand in 1788. Peruvians captured people on Rapa Nui and enslaved them. French forces took over Tahiti in 1880. Polynesian people were not equipped with steel weapons and gunpowder. European colonizers they also brought deadly new illnesses for which Polynesians had no immunity to cure. These new diseases decimated native Hawaiians, many whom died starting in the late 1700s. Unlike some of Australia's island population, though, Hawaiians maintained control of the removed Lake Okalani, Hawaii's queen. Hawaii remained a U.S. territory until 1959, when it became the country's 55th state. Today, native Hawaiians made up about 20% of the state population. Due to the built-in racism and colonialism, Polynesians became second-class citizens on their own island. Outside took so many lands and pushed aside the traditional, in some instances, language, traditional religion, and other cultural practices were banned. Since 1960, however, respect for Polynesian culture has grown. Many Polynesian islands who have been so popular with tourists because of the natural beauty and the natural traditions. From surfing to fashion, Polynesian culture is now more organized and celebrated around the world. People with Polynesian heritage have also made their mark on the world. For example, made of the world. Examples include Hawaii's Daniel Akla, the first U.S. senator of native Hawaiian heritage. There was also a senator, the football star Mike Ilopi, as cast in character in the movie More. Celebrating Polynesian heritage. Today, Polynesian peoples are working to restore their cultural heritage. The young people are again learning traditional arts, ritual. Number of people in New Zealand and who speak the Maori language is rising. Polynesian from Hawaii to Papua Nui were being recognized for the brave and resources explorers that they have always been. The Hokalaka still voyages through the Pacific as well. Everywhere this can travel, it brings both spirit and seafaring legacy of Polynesian peoples.